See, like, this is the thing. They don't grow out of this stuff, you guys. They grow into this. And they grow into a level of not respecting authority. When you see a kid who's not respecting authority when they're older, that's a kid that was raised to not respect authority when they were younger.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hey, guys. Welcome back. Hi, hon.
Hi.
Show me the get rolling action over there. But we're excited to be with you guys again. We're on a series that we're so excited to be sharing with you guys about, stop raising soft kids, and our last series, we went over a couple things, which I know you're going to want to dive into because we're moving forward with this.
Yeah, it's a part 3 series. So if you haven't heard the first one yet, go back.
Right.
This is number 2.
Yeah. And the second part to this whole thing is the cause behind it. So many times we're wondering what is going on. And the problem isn't with your kids. It's the parenting approach most people are using today. And we're not faulting anybody. Again, Greg and I were just saying our parents did the same thing, well-meaning people, but nobody wants to say this out loud, but it's not working.
That's right.
It's just not working.
That's great.
And so I will just tell you, today we just want to chat with you guys about shifting this in your mindset and in your household from like approval to structure. We no longer want you to feel that you have to do things just because that was the way you were raised. We want to teach you some new core
It's so true, though.
examples.
If you think about it over time, you think about our grandparents' generation to our parents' generation to our generation to now our kids will be stepping into this season of parenting in the future, and it won't be that long from now, right? And the reality is parenting has shifted from leadership to approval.
That's right.
Right? I mean, it has shifted. I mean, I remember even just the way that my parents were about some of this stuff, and then you see what's going on just in the world, I mean, I think parenting has shifted from structure to comfort. And that shift, I don't even think families realize how much this is costing them. And so that's why I want to address that today. So, the core truth, the reality.
Yeah.
Again, we are your friends, okay, everybody? But most parents today are more concerned with being liked than being respected. And those are not the same thing. Listen to this statement. You cannot lead your child if you're afraid they won't like you.
That's true.
You cannot lead your child. You can't lead anybody, right? I mean, I remember in a lot of our coaching endeavors, it's always been, when we're building teams that are going to be championship teams, I always had the philosophy, you can't lead whoever you need. Now, granted, doesn't fully apply to our kids in the same way, but it's the same kind of thing. You can't lead your child if you're afraid they won't like you. If you're more afraid of their approval than of your respect.
And the truth is, sometimes your kids won't like you.
That's so true.
I mean, that's the hard truth right there is
Yeah.
there has been seasons that our kids.
So what are
did
some
not
things
like
this
us.
looks like, honey, when it's like an approval based?
Oh gosh, one of them I can think of is negotiating over everything.
Man, kids want to do it,
Oh,
don't they?
they want to. Well,
Why,
if
why
I
are
do
all
this,
young kids like little mini attorneys? I don't even understand.
they're good at it too.
They are good.
They're good.
They know how to play your
They
emotions.
do.
Know,
They tug on you.
they know how to push every little angle you can possibly push.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it with well, if I do that, can I have a piece of candy? Or if I do that, can I go outside right now? Or if I do what you asking me, can I watch a movie?
Yeah.
Those are like the things that you would hear. Oh, if I do that, can I just not do homework today? What? Like,
It's so true.
so do I get to negotiate my role too?
Yeah.
Because if I do that, I just won't make food today.
Yeah. For sure.
Like,
I just won't feed you.
yeah. No grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I think that's one thing, that people, moms and dads have to be aware of the negotiating, Another one I will tell you is the endless chances we give our kids.
Oh yeah. If you have that mindset that I'm going to warn you one more time.
Or you do the counting game. If I count to 3,
hey, Jimmy, I told you.
Yep.
Jimmy, you hear people. I heard it on an airplane the other day.
Oh, shoot.
It was this kid just wailing, and then they just wanted something. I don't even know
Sure.
what it was. And they're like, oh, it's okay. Here, have this. Then 3 minutes later, wailing, and it's like, oh, it's okay. Here, take this. Next thing you know, I'm picturing in my brain. I didn't want to make eye contact, but I'm picturing this kid with like 20 stuffed animals and 4 lollipops sticking out of its face.
Probably.
It's still crying. But anyways.
Or the counting game with that endless, one. If I get to 3.
Oh, yeah.
And the worst is when the kids go 4, 5, 6.
Totally.
And you're just like, ooh, this did not go well.
Yeah.
Right? What's another one you can think of?
Yeah. I would say when you make some kind of you present a consequence and then there's no follow through, right?
And they learn that one quick.
They do learn that one quick. That could be something as simple as, Drews, you need to take the garbage out. You need to do this chore. Then after that, you can play basketball. And then all of a sudden you hear the basketball bouncing out there and 2 of the 3 things aren't done. And we had just told him the day before that when he did the same thing. You do this again, listen, just so you know, like there is no dessert for a week. Like that's it. And our kids care about their dessert. You know what I mean?
That's because they're so good. And I'm not even a big dessert person.
I know,
You are. You like your desserts.
I do, but yeah.
I think it's because we don't eat junk food or anything all day.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't eat
so
any
it's
of it.
kind of like the big reward at the end of the night.
Yeah.
So when you don't get it. Anyways, but then if you say that, but then all of a sudden, everybody else eating their dessert, their kids, and you feel bad for them. And you're like, well, did you learn your lesson? So here's your dessert. See, that's no follow through. And they learn this stuff pretty quick. And that's where this turns back into that whole passive parenting, creating, soft kids.
Yes.
What's another one?
The emotions running through the home. This is not how we are acting, and therefore they're behaving in ways that are not us, and we're screaming and yelling at them. I remember a season, I just, again, was probably in a passive season of my life, parenting.
Yeah, you're learning, right?
Yeah.
You're learning what we didn't get taught a lot of this stuff.
No.
This is you and me winging it for years, but learning, studying books and asking opinions and then being like, oh, we did that pretty wrong for a while, and I don't think, and every parent out there, just, I think you have to be growing into a great parent. And so you can't sit here and be like resistant because, I did a couple things wrong. You have a couple choices. One is like, okay, I'm just going to get mad at Greg and Jackie and put a nasty comment in this thing like we care, Number 2 is you like, maybe there's some validity here, but you could get into shame. And we don't want you to get into shame.
No.
That's not the idea. The whole thing is like, okay, we all have done stuff wrong, mostly because we didn't even know any better, or maybe we were being a little weak, to be honest with you. But now you get a blueprint for how to be strong.
Yeah.
And now let's implement it.
Right.
Right. So anyway, sorry, I think kind of took over there, but.
Well, I was just giving the example where, I was doing that, where I was screaming. My emotions were taking over instead of me having, these are the rules. I asked you to do this. It would get to pretty much in my mind, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, and then they didn't listen. And then now 4 was me screaming.
Yeah.
So
you went from passive to passive aggressive.
Correct. Correct.
For real. I'm passive. I let everything go. And then all of a sudden I'm so angry. I freak out.
Yes.
Right.
That is exactly.
I don't think either one really works very good.
No, clearly not. And before you know, the kids are like, there she is screaming again.
Yeah.
And then the worst part about it was that what I was asking them to do was the right thing. But the way I was behaving, now I have to apologize.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Again,
Right.
And
then it also gives them permission to do the same thing.
That's
to
right.
be passive and then eventually aggressive. And
so it was a bad season.
Yeah.
And
so what happens with the result of all these things? Well, you end up with kids who, number 1, don't listen.
Yep.
Kids who, number 2, don't take responsibility. They don't respond to their ability, right? And number 3, and this is one of the worst ones, I think, they actually get trained to not respect authority. And when you get trained to not respect authority, see, like, this is the thing. They don't grow out of this stuff, you guys. They grow into this. And they grow into a level of not respecting authority. When you see a kid who's not respecting authority when they're older, that's a kid that was raised to not respect authority when they were younger. And it's just a truth, you guys. So you have to realize that there's a lot on us parents. That's why we all got to stick together. That's why we're doing this podcast. We're trying to encourage people to be able to put the right things in at whatever season you're in.
Right.
So therefore they do grow into what they're supposed to grow into in the future. So All right. So a couple last little things here. Number one, to me, I like to learn what to do. I also like to learn what not to do, because it kind of helps me. And one of the things, parents, your role is not to be your kid's best friend. Mm-hmm. It might sound crazy, especially some of you out there that you've just dreamt of having kids for so long and you have an idea in your head of what it's going to look like. And you see, the thing is, it messes us up on social media because all you see is the highlight reels of everybody else's lives. And it looks like that little girl is like perfect best friends with the mom, but you don't see the behind the scenes stuff. You don't see all the other correction. You don't see the parenting that's happening. You see this highlight reel. So you can try to almost model your life off of that highlight reel, and you're missing out on all of the other things. So your role is not to be their best friend.
Correct.
Your role is to be their leader. Your role is not to be their entertainer. Your role is to be their trainer, right? Your role is not to be their emotional buffer. Your role is to be their example, right? And this is powerful because when you put yourself into that posture as a parent and you give yourself permission to do these things, in other words, if I have to handle a situation, if you have to handle a situation that is tough, I have to sit there and literally consciously remind myself when I'm having fear about it or doubts about it, or is this going to be a little bit too much, or how's the kid going to think about me? Or is it going to hurt our relationship? All this stuff that starts working on your head. Oh, yeah. You have to go back to, my role is not to be their best friend in this season. My role is to be their leader. By the way, when they're adults and you do this right, they will be your best friends. Oh, yeah. But when they're little, they don't need you to be their best friend. They need you to be their leader, right? Am I supposed to be their entertainer? No, I'm supposed to be their trainer. So I get it. You want to play and you want to do this and you want to just, everything's fun and just caters to that. But no, I got to train you. It's my job. I'm not supposed to be just your emotional buffer. It doesn't mean I don't have compassion and for situations. That's not what we're saying. What we're supposed to be, though, is their example, right? So anyways, what are some actions that people can take coming out of here, hon?
Well, I think a couple things is set clear expectations that are non-negotiable to your kiddos. Make sure they understand.
Yeah, communicate them so they get it.
Yes, and ask them to join in on it, to understand it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Another thing I think is follow through with what you're saying every single time. Yeah. Even if you're tired, even if you're worn out, follow through, parents. It is a good long-term play.
You're not getting dessert tonight, Drews, no matter what.
Yeah, that night happens to be something really good too, I think another thing is stop over-explaining things. I mean, their brains can only concept so much. Sometimes you're like, well, I got to explain every little thing. No, sometimes the answer is no.
Yeah. The younger they are, the more it is. Like, sometimes we hear people say, well, my parents just said, well, don't do this because I said so. Well, that is the right move to a certain age. Yeah. Now, when your brain starts developing and you start understanding more, now you need probably to understand. But in the beginning, if you're sitting down with a 3-year-old and you're trying to give like this, this well thought out communication around why your philosophy of parenting is the way it is, it's probably not going to land real well.
Well, they don't get it, know. Yeah. And I think the last one I can just tell you, because I know too many things, you can't do any of them, is, just hold the standard. Yeah. Hold it, even if you feel like it's a lot of work, even if you don't fully want to do it every day, even if you feel like they're not getting it, hold the standard in your household. Yeah. Is important. So
how can people connect with us on this topic?
Oh my gosh, we'd love for you guys to connect with us. We have this amazing, strong family blueprint that we want to invite you guys to get a hold of, so you can apply it to your family.
Yeah, it's kind of a cheat sheet around the stuff we're talking about that you can keep in front of you.
So you can study it, and we're actually very excited about it. Something we just came up with to put out there for you guys to enjoy. So please DM us. However you are connecting with us in social media, whether it's through YouTube, whatever it may be, hit family across the board, and we will get it to you guys because we know this is something that can help change the future of your parenting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just DM us or comment family, and then we'll get back to you personally. Okay, great job, man.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.